Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to light up your Lego buildings. Now, mind you, each building is different, but today we're going to be starting with the Jazz Club. The first thing you got to do is you got to build up your Mills plate using whichever version of Mills plate you prefer. I have a video linked right here above that shows you the 3 different methods you can use using the products that I sell on my website, www.bevinsbricks.com. And if you're curious what version I'm using in this video, it is the plugged Mills plate connector that I already pre-installed into this Mills plate. Something worth noting, while I'm doing the transfer, you'll see that I've changed out one of the tiles with this tile. This is a modified tile. It's kind of a wedge tile, if you will. And I do that because where the lead comes into the building, I don't want the wire to be pinched. And doing this prevents exactly that from happening. Now that we have it all installed, let's start with the lighting. Here you can see I have the lead that comes in from the Mills plate, again, referenced in that video I was talking about earlier. And the first thing we're going to do, because I installed a lot of lights in this building, and you're going to see what I mean shortly, but I am plugging in a 12-port expansion board in here, and I'm going to be setting that in the stairwell. Now, the reason that I'm going to have everything come over and plug into the stairwell is because it's not something that you're really going to see. This isn't a playable feature to me. The stairwell is a very nice touch to the build. Don't get me wrong. I think this set looks very cool. But to me, this stairwell provides the perfect place to hide our wiring mess. Anyway, now we are going to put the first light in on the front side of the entrance, and just so you know, I am using warm white micro LEDs. With that light installed, we're going to plug it into the board, and now what we're going to do is move over to the light that is at the center entrance of the restaurant. And again, I'm using a warm white LED for that as well. Pop up the tile just to hide the wire, and I'm placing that light in place, and then we're going to put the tile back down and plug that into the board next. Now we're going to spin the building around, and there's one light on the rear side of the building. So trying to show you what I did, I quickly ripped everything down all the way down to where the light fixture is. And again, I am using a warm white LED. And something else worth noting is that so far, every LED that I've installed is only a 6-inch long LED lead. With that installed, we spin the building back around, plug it in, and now we move on to the other side of the entrance. Now, that particular fixture has a 12-inch lead, but that was a warm white light also. And now this center entrance, I totally need to make a video specifically about this because it has a whole lot going on. By a whole lot, I mean there is 2 LEDs that are giving me the neon effect that goes around the sign. There's a multifunction board that is installed inside of this, and that multifunction board is actually operating a total of 11 LEDs as well. And what I physically have is one other light that's lighting up the face of the sign, and then I have 2 12-inch cables that come out of that fixture that I have installed inside of that and come over and plug into the board again in the stairwell. Now I'm installing a slow flash rainbow light, or RGB light, whichever you prefer to call it, just in the center fixture of the stage. And I may even go back at a later date and put in a fast changing RGB, but for now I was pretty happy with it. And I'm taking that wire, running it over to the stairwell, and plugging it into the board in the stairwell once again. Next up, I'm using my 1x6 warm white flex light, and you just peel and stick that anywhere you want, as you can see in this image. And then I'm also installing the bottom half of my modular building connector, so that way the power will run up into the next floor. Now that this floor is fully completed, it's time to move on to the next floor. And I've already installed the top half of the modular connector on the bottom, like you can see here. And then I simply ran it up and through the wall inside. And all we're going to do with this is we're going to take that wire and plug it directly into my 1x4 flex light. And this is a new product that's going to be coming out here in the next week or so. And this is warm white in color as well. But anyway, you peel that off and you can stick it anywhere you want it. But what I did is I took a 2x4 tile and I put that on the bottom side of the 2x4 tile. And what I'm going to do is put that sticking out over the fireplace That way it illuminates that entire room where the tailor shop is at, and I think that'll really look nice. Now I'm plugging in a 6-inch extension cable, and what that cable is going to be for is a light that I'm going to put in the hallway. And for the hallway, I am just simply, once again, using this 1x4 light to illuminate the hallway. And it is a warm white in color. So we just plug that into the other side of the expansion or extension cable. And we're going to take that, peel the back of it off, stick it onto the wall. And then the other thing I want to note is I am also hooking up the bottom half of the next modular building connector, so that way we can get power to the floor above this as well. And I'm not going to be doing anything with the greenhouse, so I was just setting that there to show you, to make sure that that plug is going to line up with our building. And then I set the building on top of it again to make sure that I have the plugs aligned for the modular building connector. And I do already have that installed on the bottom, and I'm going to show you right here. So that is what's going to give us power to come back up into that floor. And again, because I don't want to over illuminate the building, all I simply did is I'm going to illuminate the hallway again, so that room to the left is not going to have any lights on in it. And we are just going to light up the hallway. And I am using, once again, the 1x4 strip light with warm white color. And that is all we're doing for illumination on this building. You peel it off, slap it on, and check it out. Here is what the building looks like now with the lights on, of course, and the lights that we installed on as well. And you may notice there are a lot of little subtle changes that I did to this, because I just felt there was a lot of things that needed improving on this building. And one of the big improvements was it needed a lot of alleyway details. But anyway, here it is with the lights off. And I am personally extremely happy with how this turns out. I love that neon effect that's coming up and around the jazz sign. And I like the very minimal amount of lighting that you see in the alleyway. You just have that one street light that's lighting it up, and then you can see two of the windows going, and you can see a little bit of color through the other windows. And that's because there's a stage performance going on, and everything else in the building is off, just as it should be. Now, if you guys like how this building looks, I will be making a video to explain how I illuminated the jazz club entrance, and also how I did some of the modifications, like adding the door and a better looking peak to the greenhouse. And I even added some details to the alleyway because it was way too boring. I got the ivy, I got a gas and an electric meter coming in, and also a fire escape, because what building's complete without a fire escape? Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. So until next time, we'll see you on Bevins Bricks.